to the Stubblefield Earth battery, and Nikola Tesla standing there with his old farmer, where he's running his whole farm on this device where he has stakes in the ground that are tapping into this electromagnetic and mostly magnetic flux field and running generators running his farm. This is 1902.
It's in 1902?
1902. And Nikola Tesla is standing there. I got the picture. This documentary is going to blow. It goes from that all the way to the Lockheed Skunk Works devices that started being built in the 50s. We have witnesses and transcripts of the Norton Air Force Base show, California. Norton's closed now. But they had an air show in 1988 where there were 3 of these man-made UFOs, ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles, hovering in this hangar. And those, we have those fully illustrated. We have enough detail. We actually have the schematics of the interior.
You have the schematics of the interior?
And the exterior, how they look. And these were built, interestingly, the witness who was there, who was an aerospace designer, saw that the components in it, now this is 1988, were from the late Mercury era. So the Mercury capsule, which was late 50s, early 60s. And they had markings and charts on them where they had been out in space around our solar system. They were specifically told these had gone through the solar system. Now, those were from the late 50s, early 60s. No jet fuel, no rockets.
Are these going to be in the dock?
Yep, everything. So this is going to be shocking. It's going to be a shocking thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it's about an hour and 48 minutes right now. We're just finishing it. We just had a great guy who's a supporter, the Limp Bizkit lead guy, Fred Durst. He's agreed to narrate it. So
He's narrating it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I just got out of a studio with him a couple of days ago where we're laying down the track for the narration. But he's a great guy, very smart, super supportive of what we're doing.
Good, good.
Yeah.
So what else is going to be in there?
Well, we're going to actually have a lot of the devices going through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s that weren't the flying devices. But I'll give you an example. There was an inventor named Floyd, and he had a solid state device, looked like a little bigger than a cigarette pack, that you could attach to an electric motor, say for a car. It wasn't plugged in. Once it got going, it was a 0 point quantum vacuum flux, and it would run a 300 horsepower motor. So imagine having a 300 horsepower motor in your Tesla or your truck, and this little, and there are no batteries. You don't have 900 pounds of lithium-ion batteries, and the lithium-ion batteries really are destroying the environment. And you never have to plug it in. About the time he was going to get, he was meeting with some people at GM who thought they were interested, but they were actually just trying to find out what he had. After that meeting, he died suddenly, suspiciously.
How?
People claiming, well, he dropped dead of a heart attack. And that was plausible because he was an elderly guy. Mm-hmm. But before that, he had had an assassination attempt. He was going up some steps, and a sniper was trying to shoot it, but he didn't know it, but he tripped just as the bullet went right past his head. And we have the testimony of a lieutenant colonel who was involved in this case, who is a physicist also. This is going to be shocking to people.
Oh, yeah.
Utterly shocking.
You know, these mysterious deaths, some people are like, oh, that, no way. Well, it does. We talked about the Epstein stuff. Let's talk, the guy that invented the Hydra car, gone.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, there have been so many. I've worked with people.
And then there was...
who've done that.
If you could refresh my memory, but wasn't there somebody else that disappeared and they just happened to be involved in one of the mass shootings?
Yeah, there have been a number of folks where things get set up like that around them. There was a guy doing up this recent shooting up in New York where there was a man who had recreated this water fuel cell where your car could run off water. Yeah, and just bizarre stuff. So one of the problems with all these inventors,
I mean, it's not a coincidence
No, these are hits.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if you're a brilliant electromagnetic engineer, but you don't know the bear you're about to poke with that technology and what they'll do to keep it suppressed, you're destined to fail. So one of the reasons we're doing this documentary is to provide the context so that people who do have these devices come to us, and we have a strategy that we briefly outline in this documentary of how to fix this problem. Well, how do you fix it? The big mistake people make, they try to patent it, and we have actually a national security order denial on a patent of one of these devices from an inventor I know. So we're going to prove this is not a conspiracy theory. Here it is from the patent office. So they ain't going to allow it. It gets confiscated. We have a patent examiner who's a PhD physicist testify that they confiscate these things. That's in the movie. Then we say, okay, how are you going to get it out then? If you try to keep how it operates secret, then you're very vulnerable. So one of the things I did for the disclosure project for my own security is to decentralize everything I have. It's called detargeting. So why have a big bullseye on your ass when if you were to disperse all your information and intelligence, which I have done, it would still be out there. Moreover, you create a dead man trigger. So since the 90s, I've had a dead man trigger of stuff I'm holding back. That if something happens to me, that hits the internet, and every celebrity that supports what we're doing that can reach 1 billion people, they get it, and they put it out on Instagram, and boom. And this is stuff they do not want out. Mm-hmm. It's names, it's stuff that I have not released, and where and who. But people say, why don't you release it? I said, well, this is one of my insurance policies. But what these inventors don't get is that they don't do that. They have no SecOps, so they have no security protocols. They just think, I have a better mousetrap, the world's going to beat a path to my door. When in reality, Murder Incorporated beats a path to their door. Okay? Or it just gets confiscated. Most of the time, it's not even that. They're so crazy. They think, we're going to keep this secret. Nobody will know how it works. And I'm going to just sort of be able to get it out there without no one proving it. And I said, no. If you're making an outrageous claim that you're pulling energy out of the space around us, it's got to be released for scientific review. It's got to be reproduced by multiple labs and people who are skilled in the art. You got to open source it. Open source means it's just out there. Mm-hmm. At the first level. Now maybe at the second level you could patent, because then the whole world knows. So what we're proposing is that at a level 1 phase of these new technologies coming out, we're going to leave the things that fly alone, because those could be missile delivery systems. But the things that would run your house, your car, whatever, a boat, a truck, those need to come out like 100 years ago. So the way to do it, and this we outline, is that we would disclose it publicly on blockchain protected systems massively, multiple celebrities. And the first 20 of these devices we would reproduce would be running Demi Lovato's home, or Leo DiCaprio's house, or Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters, or whoever, all these people interested in this subject. Why? Because the media could suppress this, but you can't suppress dozens of celebrities with 1 billion followers.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes, so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.